All right. Manny Pacquiao puts a little cryptic text out there, not text, tweet out there mentioning Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. What does it mean? Did he call a dude out? I'm not so sure. Or either one of them. But let's talk about that. And I also want to talk about this Manny Pacquiao Fighter of the Decade stuff. Because I just think that it really is a disservice to a lot of boxers for people to talk that and to say that about Manny Pacquiao from the year 2010 to the year 2020. The guy's record just does not support that when you compare it to several other people. And I'm going to talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, hey, please subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And also I want to say special thank you to everybody that supports the channel on the Patreon, in the live streams we do Monday through Friday, and especially on OG Boxing Talk on Sunday, which is our weekend wrap-up show with my co-hosts, a panel of guys that you'll like to listen to a lot. And I hope that you'll come on Sunday to support us on OG Boxing Talk. Now, let's get into this, man. The first two topics, right? One is, well, the two topics in this video is going to be one, is this Manny Pacquiao puts out a tweet, and thank you to everybody that forwarded the tweet to me because I didn't see it originally. Still not as agile in Twitter as I want to be, so I look on people's pages and people say there's tweets there. I don't see them, so hey, but sometimes I just miss stuff. So he put out this thing about his foundation, and then I think he just put the names Errol Spence Jr., Terence Crawford in that. So what does that mean? Right? He didn't say, I want to fight Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Those are the two champions that I want to fight. It wasn't clear that he wanted them to help out with his foundation. He very well could have said, hey, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, you need to fight. Right? It could have been interpreted any way. The only thing that you know for sure out of that text, at least from what I saw, was that he knows who they are. And he thought it was worth mentioning their name at this particular moment in time. Now, I'm sure since he's on Twitter and he's a boxer and it pays a certain amount of attention to what's going on in the boxing world, he knows that there's a big conversation going on about Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford fighting one another, right? So, maybe he did that. He put the names there just to highlight the cause that he has on Manny, on his, that he wants the people to talk about, which is, I think is whatever, the Manny Pacquiao Foundation or whatever it is. It just seemed to be, an interesting, PR move from Manny Pacquiao or Manny Pacquiao's team. I'm not sure if he manages his own Twitter or not. People do different things, but there's just nothing in that really said to me, oh yeah, he wants to fight Errol Spence Jr. next. He wants to fight Terence Crawford next, right? Or, hey, I'm acknowledging the other two champions. I'm the WBA champion, and then Terence Crawford's a WBO. Errol Spence is the IBF and WBC. It's just really nothing that I could take that out, take it out. I guess you could say he called them out in the sense that he said Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. He called their names out. But he didn't actually make a point, in a discernible point in the call out. So I don't really know what to make of it. But I know that he has said that that he would have liked to fight Terence Crawford instead of Jeff Horn. That's something that he has said. When he was asked, he said, why didn't you ever fight Terence Crawford? He says, I don't know why they didn't make the fight. I would have done that before I did Jeff Horn. But hey, they didn't want to make the fight. My understanding is that he wanted $20 million to make the fight, which was pretty much the same amount of money he got to fight Tim Bradley, right? But Top Rank didn't want to do it. Bob Arum says that he shut the fight down because he knew what was going to happen. Mighty funny, but anyway, that is what it is. I don't know what to make of that. And while I think that it is reasonable for Errol Spence Jr. to want to fight Manny Pacquiao before he fights Terence Crawford, because Manny Pacquiao is a bigger fighter and is a bigger fight financially. And as far as interest in the sporting world, it's going to be bigger. Okay. Now, there's a lot of people that says that's not the case. Everybody knows the fight is nah. There's a whole lot of people in the boxing world who really don't know or care very much about Terence Crawford, and many that don't really know or might not care about Errol Spence. When you compare it to how many people know Manny Pacquiao. You know, Manny Pacquiao is one of these fighters that you really can go outside and ask anybody if they know him, and they're gonna say, yes, I know Manny Pacquiao is. I do this often. Do you know who Terence Crawford is? No. Do you know who Errol Spence is? Yes. I'm in Texas, so yeah, I've heard of him, you know, but I could easily be in Illinois and say, hey, if you heard of Errol Spence Jr., they could say no, right? It wouldn't be something that I wouldn't expect. Everybody that's in boxing has heard of them, but Manny Pacquiao is different. Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence Jr., Floyd Mayweather Jr., to a large extent, Canelo Alvarez too. Like, it's not often that I ask somebody if they know who Canelo Alvarez is and they don't know who Canelo Alvarez is. Those guys really do have those type of names that people know. Deontay Wilder I walk around asking people who know Deontay Wilder is, and people know who Deontay Wilder is because the exposure on Fox and all of that stuff, and the fact that he's that guy that keeps knocking people out. I'm hearing that more and more, but not like it's not to the point where it is with Manny Pacquiao, right? So, but that, because me saying that I think that's why they should fight, that's not the same thing as saying that I know for sure. The fact that I'm saying Errol Spence Jr. wanting to get that fight with Manny Pacquiao, wanting to do that, is something that's very reasonable for him and is a natural progression in his career. That is not the same thing as me saying I know for sure that Manny Pacquiao is going to fight Errol Spence, because Manny Pacquiao could have fought Errol Spence instead of Keith Thurman, and he decided not to do that. And there is a reason for that, okay? And I think everybody knows it. Okay, Manny Pacquiao is an experienced pugilist, okay? And he understands old fighters getting older, fighters that take layoffs, styles make fights, and all of those things. Now, so we'll see what happens with that. We'll see, and we will see how much longer Manny Pacquiao keeps going. And like I said in some other videos that I did today, we'll see how long Bud Crawford is at 147 pounds, because they got some young boys up there at 140 that are moving up, that are going to be moving up soon. And Bob Arum in Top Rank, I think it'd be more inclined to showcase them at 147 pounds than Bud Crawford. But that's not the subject of this video necessarily. I do want to say this though about this fighter of the decade stuff in Manny Pacquiao. I think that it is grossly unfair to fighters like Deontay Wilder. It's grossly unfair to fighters like that phone call is going to have to drop. I'm sorry. It's grossly unfair to fighters like Deontay Wilder. It is grossly unfair to fighters like Andre Ward and fighters like Floyd Mayweather Jr. for people to make this argument that Manny Pacquiao was a fighter of the decade between 2010 and 2020. The guy's record is 13-4 with one knockout and had been knocked out one time. Okay? He's 13 wins, 13 wins, 4 losses. He has one knockout, and he's been knocked out one time. He's been knocked out in this decade as many times as he's stopped fighter. Okay, and he's won, and he's lost 4 of 17 fights. That, my friend, is a winning percentage of less than 80%. That's just not right to say that's fighter of the decade, okay? It's very difficult to get around those numbers when you have a guy like Andre Ward who went undefeated. You have a guy like Deontay Wilder who in that same period of time has had essentially 23-0 with 21 knockouts and 5 title defense, or 10 and almost half of which were title defenses for a heavyweight world championship. And then you've got a guy like Floyd Mayweather Jr. who actually beat the same guy, beat Canelo Alvarez, who could also be a candidate for fighter of the decade. To say that Manny Pacquiao is the fighter of the decade is just, in my opinion, man, it is just such a stretch. Okay, now he has clearly done exceptional things as he has gotten older. He's clearly a very, very good fighter, but I mean, with losses to Eric Morales, to Jeff Horn, to Tim Bradley, a knockout loss to Juan Manuel Marquez. Only one time has he stopped anybody. He's only stopped an over the hill, pretty much shot Lucas Matisse, in the whole decade. That's the only guy he stopped. No, man. The decade before that, think he got fighter of the decade over Floyd Mayweather Jr., and that was wrong. Okay, because he had been knocked out 2 times in that decade. But he might have been knocked out 2 times in the 90s. But at least during that period of time, he was 21-1. He was 21-1 with 2 draws. But not this time, man. Just stop. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.